I decided to get a little bit serious and a little bit personal for a second. In the midst of me doing my reviews on Love and Hip Hop Hollywood and, the ratchetness of Bad Girls Club and everything like that, in the midst of me preparing yesterday to do those reviews that I never got a chance to do, I sat down and I thought about stuff. And this is basically the end of the year. 2014 has been one of the best years I've had since I hit my 20s. I'm 25 years old, and coming from a horrible year, which was 2013, where I almost lost my mom. We weren't really doing well financially. Everything wasn't going right at all. But on Christmas Eve, my mother, who was sick, got a chance to get back up and go back to work to provide for her family. Weeks later, I ended up getting a job so I could provide for myself and to provide a way for me to get out on my own and move out. 2014 has been a lot of things to me, and this is not a review. This is not a video about my New Year's resolutions. This is about deeper issues that I've had, and because I'm in the great space that I'm in, despite how many heartbreaks I've had this year, as a person and as someone that's growing up from who they used to be, I feel like I need to do this video because it's been on my heart, and I think the people that I'm going to talk about deserve to hear this. I don't know if they're ever going to hear it. I know at some point somebody's going to show it to them. It never ceases to amaze me how it gets back to them. But at the end of the day, I feel like I need to do this. And this is my testimony video. And it's called I Apologize. Scotty isn't perfect at all. You know what I'm saying? I am a nice person. I am a sweet person. But you know what I'm saying? I am a damaged person as well. And I'm beginning to heal. But damaged people do damaged things. Hurt people hurt other people. And that's really the truth. And I was one of those hurt people that hurt other people. So let me just start off with the first thing that I'm going to say. The first person that I want to say something to. Number one, I apologize, Father. My dad, the person that brought me into the world, my father, the person that I share my same first name and last name with, my dad. I apologize for being an asshole to you and being, cold hearted to you, and you know what I'm saying, not trying to give you a chance because I was upset at you for not being in my life the way that I wanted you to be in my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, despite how much I was a bitch to you, despite how despite how hard I pushed you away, and despite how much of a hard time I gave you when you tried to come in and I would push you right back out, you still tried. You tried with me regardless. And I was very adamant about pushing you away and making you feel the way that I felt for years. And for years, I pushed you away. For years, I painted you out to be this horrible person, this terrible person, a deadbeat dad, because you was the void in my life that was absent. And despite me apologizing, it doesn't change the fact that you weren't there for me like I wanted you to be, but you wanted to. You know what I'm saying? You tried, but I pushed you away. As a teenager, I had a lot of things on my plate. I wasn't doing well in school. I was being picked on. I was wrestling with my sexuality. There was a lot of things going on that you didn't even know about. And when you have a lot of things on you, and when you're hurt, and when people are hurting you, you tend to hurt other people. I've written countless blogs on Facebook just bashing him every Father's Day, bashing him on the Facebook status, just doing everything I possibly could as a cry for his attention. I wanted him to see how I felt because he wasn't there. And it was the wrong way to go about it. Social media is not the place to air out your family issues or your family problems. It's really not. Sometimes it can be therapeutic for you. It was therapeutic for me at the time. I wasn't thinking about how I was hurting him. At the end of the day, it was wrong. And I feel terrible about how I did him. Because it doesn't matter what he didn't do, he was still my father, and I didn't have to open up my life and open up our personal business to everybody and let them know what was going on. So I really do apologize to my dad for that. Despite the fact that you weren't there for me, as a kid like I wanted you to be. You're here now, and I'm really grateful that you accept me for being gay. You accept me for the son. Despite me being gay and being attracted to men and everything like that, you still accepted me for who I was. You didn't even flinch when my mother told you that I was gay. You didn't flinch. You didn't give a fuck. When we talked about it, you treated me the same way you always treated me. And we have a better relationship these days. Do we talk on the phone every day? On the hour? On the hour? No. We talk a few times out of the month. But at the end of the day, I am grateful. And I love you, and I just don't know how else to put it. This is what I should have been doing a long time ago. But you know, sometimes when you're young and you're dumb and you're just reckless and you're not thinking clearly, things get in the way. Sometimes I wish that it didn't take me 25 years to realize what was really important, and that was family. But it doesn't matter. I know now, and all I can do is fix the wound that I partially created with my attitude. So, if this, from the bottom of my heart, I apologize to you for my behavior and the way I acted towards you. The second person, I would like to say I apologize to my grandmother Yvonne. Um, you know, I had a dislike for her as I got older. You know, I never really had an issue with her at first growing up. Mainly because I just didn't know her like that. Like, we didn't have a relationship. I just didn't know her like that. And then, you know, I tend to be standoffish with those that I don't know, whether they're family or potential people that I'm meeting in the street. It's always been that wall that I have around me when it's dealing with people that I don't know. And I knew that she was my grandmother, but I didn't know her. So that kind of made it, me not realizing that, me building that wall up in front of us like that, in between us, that's probably what pushed her away from me. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, as I got older, my temper was bad, my mouth was bad, it was reckless, I was going through things. Like I said, it's not an excuse, but that's just my truth. You know, I would hear that she would be coming into town, and then it would be from people on the street, and I would never know from her. I would never see her. So that made me feel like, you know, I was like, fuck that bitch. You know what I'm saying? Fuck her. You know what I'm saying? I said it in a video. You know, I made a video like a year ago that's deleted now, but I made a video like a year ago, and it was like about my life without grandparents, and it was me talking about the non-existent relationships that I've had with all my grandparents. I don't have a relationship with my grandfather. I don't have a relationship with my grandfather nor my grandmother on my mother's side, and I don't have one with my grandma. Well, I'm trying to build one with my grandmother on my dad's side, and my grandfather on my dad's side is dead, but I didn't really know him like that either. I just knew him. We would see him whenever my dad come home from New Jersey. That's it, but I didn't really know him. But I made that video and didn't realize that what it would create as far as the family dynamics is concerned. Like, it pissed off a couple of people. It pissed off my cousin. It pissed off my sister. It pissed off a couple of people. And you know what I'm saying? At that time, you know what I'm saying? Knowing what I know now, it wasn't the right thing to do. I really should have just sat down and had a conversation with her before I did that video, or I should have just sat down and been honest about how I felt instead of being cold towards her for no reason. She don't know what the fuck I'm cold with her about. You know what I mean? She don't know. And it took my cousin, my older cousin, the only first cousin that I have, to talk to me about it. She gave me my grandmother's number, and we discussed it, and we moved on. Now, have I really talked to her since then? I haven't talked to her in like a year, because I lost her number when I got a new phone number and a new phone, so I lost her number. However, I do plan on getting it back, because I'm getting older and she's getting older. All of us are getting older, and I feel like I'm going to feel a certain way if something ever happened to her and I never got a chance to know her. You know what I'm saying? Like, that'd be real fucked up, and it'd leave a bitter taste in my mouth if something like that happened. So at the end of it all, I just want to apologize, because I was really being a cold-hearted bitch towards you. I was being an asshole. The things I said in the video just wasn't cool. And at that time, that's how I felt. That was my truth at that time. You know what I'm saying? I can't take back what I said, because that was how I felt at the moment. All I can do right now, as we get past it and grow past it, is and as I move forward, is to correct the situation, fix the wound, and move on. Because I can't apologize for what I said in the past. The only thing I can do is acknowledge that I was wrong. That was just the space that I was in my life. It's no excuses. I was miserable at that time. I was pissed off, angry at everybody. You know what I'm saying? Just mad at everybody, mad at everything that was going on in my life. And as I said, I felt hurt by her and my dad simply because they wasn't in my life. But at the same time, I was partially the reason why they wasn't, because I was pushing them off without even knowing that I was pushing them off. Me being a bitch every time they come around, I'm not saying shit, I'm not doing nothing, I'm not being, welcoming. As far as I'm concerned, not like I wasn't aware of, like, there's a lot of things I'm not aware of. Sometimes I'm not aware of my actions. Sometimes, like, I could be very, at that back then, I was very unwelcoming. Didn't know it. My mother had to call that out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know that I could be very unwelcoming. Like, I know I could be an asshole. I know I could be a jerk, especially because I had a horrible attitude. But now all I can do is correct it and fix my wrongs with that situation. So, to my grandmother Yvonne, that's my sincerest apology. We already had this discussion already, but I felt like I needed to do it again, just so I could get it out because it was on my heart. Besides my dad and my grandmother, there's another person that I want to say something to, and that's one of my siblings. His name is Anthony. And I will say that at the very beginning, you know, I was cold to him for no reason. Very cold. When he came here to Mississippi to live for a while back in 2008, he mainly hung out with my sister. I didn't really hang out with him. I stayed back. When he came over to the house, I sit around him. I really didn't talk to him that much. It only took us having a serious conversation at the tail end of him being here for me to appreciate him. And despite whatever he did, despite the fact that he took from us and did this and did that, I understand that he was in survival mode and he did what he felt was right. Even though he knew it was wrong, I'm not going to hold that against him, because he's really a genuine person at the end of the day. So I really do respect him. Number one, for doing the same thing. He really is my father's child, because he really tried to stand by me and he accepted me for who I was, and he really didn't give a fuck about my attitude. He still was going to be there for me no matter how much of a bitch I was. And it felt like on the outside looking in, they would be kissing my ass. Not that I needed them to do that, but that's how it would look on the outside, because I'm being a bitch to them and they still trying. When they didn't even have to. All they could have said was fuck that bitch ass nigga and kept it moving, but they didn't. They stayed and they tried. You know what I'm saying? Because they knew it was something there. Now, do I talk to my brother Anthony on a day-to-day basis? I do not. But I will always have a respect for him, and I will always love him as my brother. We talked 2 days straight a few weeks ago, and I know I got to do better with that. But you know what I'm saying? I do apologize for my actions at the very beginning. I was real cold, and when somebody going through shit and they feel like they want to hurt everybody, and that's what I did. You know what I'm saying? Mainly I didn't really hurt him, but my dad and my grandmother. You know what I'm saying? I didn't realize that I was hurting them. I wanted to hurt them because I was hurt. I wanted to damage them because I wanted them to feel the same pain that I felt. But that was wrong. You know what I mean? That was really wrong. It's just, I could go on all night talking about the things that I went through and how I acted and how I pushed so many people away because of my own issues. And it's not right when you push people away for your own issues. You know what I'm saying? It's not right. It's not cool. You know what I'm saying? So the most I can do is own up to my mistakes. What I won't do, because those 3 people are the ones that deserve it, because they're the ones that was directly affected by it. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were the ones I made the videos about. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was. But all I can say is, I'm a very honest person. And sometimes the things that I say can come off the wrong way. Sometimes I'm where keeping it real goes wrong. You may not agree with what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, it's my truth. And I refuse to be painted as a villain because I speak my truth. At the time that I spoke about my grandmother, that was my truth. As wrong as my delivery was, that was my truth as far as how I felt about her. I felt like she didn't care about me. And without talking to her, that was my truth at that time. Not making excuses for the fucked up way I presented my truth, but that was my truth. And at that time, I wasn't gonna apologize for my feelings. That's how I felt. Because I wouldn't dare make somebody apologize for their feelings towards me. I could give a fuck about how a motherfucker feel about me. That's their feeling. But at the end of the day, I don't like it when I say what it is and then I'm vilified, or people want to make it seem like I'm wrong every time I say something. Every time I say something, people get pissed off. Every time I do something, people get pissed off. And it is what it is. Like, sometimes I could just be saying what it is. If I say, you know what I'm saying, I'm not close to such and such, people want to get mad. But why? When it's the truth. You know what I'm saying? If I'm not close to such and such, that doesn't mean that, okay, bitch, fuck you. Whatever, we got an issue. That don't mean we got an issue. We just not close. We should be, but we just not close. We're not. So what's the point of being upset about it? The only thing you can do about that is fix it. Try to build a relationship. Try. And that's on my part too. Try to build a relationship with people, whether it's your brother, your sister, your cousin, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. You know what I mean? Like, I would never be the type of person to be apologetic for certain things. Like, if I know I'm wrong, I will apologize. I know I was wrong for my actions towards my grandmother, my dad, and my brother Anthony when he first came down here. And I look back at the way I acted and it was fucked up. I know it was. So at the end of the day, I can honestly say that. But what I'm not gonna do is, when I'm telling the truth and when I'm saying what it is, and if I'm just saying it, like, sometimes I can just say, well, me and such is not close. You know what I'm saying? And I really wish that we was. That's not a reason for you to be mad. Sometimes I feel like people just want to find a reason to be mad with me. And that's why I'm so defensive all the time. And that's why I have a wall up. Because every time I say something, people get mad. And it's not really... Maybe I can work on my delivery. That's the only problem. My delivery is the problem. But I'm not a bad person at all. So don't make me out to be that. You know what I mean? I'm just speaking my truth. And this whole video was my truth. And I want to apologize for doing this video. Why? Because they all deserve an apology. Hopefully they see it. I really do hope they see it one day. But, I'm pretty sure it'll get around somehow. I didn't know how the fuck the grandmother video, the grandparents video got around. But it surely got around. And I sure caught a lot of heat for it. But at the end of the day, the people that were mad about it, well, at least some of the people that were mad about it, we discussed it and we moved past it. Like, me and my cousin, we discussed that shit, and she understood where I was coming from. She got me. She understood it, and we got past it, and I fucks with her hard. But I can't speak for nobody else. I can't speak for nobody else. I won't speak for them. It is what it is. So that was just on my heart, y'all. I had to get that off my chest. And just like, rate, comment, subscribe, do whatever you like. I'm out here, y'all. Peace.